If it's happening here. This is The Rich Stevens Show.
New York attitude, Florida charm. Talk so hot, it's a 4-alarm. Right, smart, unafraid. A double shot of truth on your radio waves. Hey, hey, oh, whoa. Time to crank up your radio. Hey, hey, whoa, whoa. Time for the Rich Stevens Radio Show. Rich Stevens. Sounds so nice, you're gonna say it twice. Rich Stevens Show. Coming to you strong on your radio.
All right, what's going on? How are you? I'm Rich Stevens. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Rich Stevens broadcast. A lot of stuff to talk about today, and in case you missed it the other day, of course, happy and healthy and sweet New Year to you and your family if you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, hey, same thing for you. Happy, healthy, sweet New Year for you as well. The Jewish New Year's, it's 5780 right now. And it seems like it was just 5779. I don't know where the year went to. That never gets old. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. You know, a lot of people are nostalgic from when they were younger. And I can kind of get in on this story a little bit because an ex-girlfriend of mine when I lived in Denver used to shop at Forever 21. And it's a great store. They had like these $3, $5 t-shirts and some other cool things. And she was obviously older than 21, but it was the kind of place that just made you see the stuff that you wanted to have or may have had when you were in, I guess in high school maybe, or maybe even in college. And now the news comes that they're planning to close up to 178 stores here in the United States. Now, they say the move is an important and necessary step to secure the future of the company. So I guess in reality, those $3 t-shirts weren't going to last forever. 21. See what I did there? But I can't help but wonder if there's a local South Florida tie to Forever 21 filing for bankruptcy and closing 178 stores. And that's because Ariana Grande, the singer from Boca, may have had something to do with this. Let me explain. Last week, she sued in federal court Forever 21 for over $10 million in damages because Forever 21 used Ariana's image in their ads without paying for it. Now, that's just not right altogether. But then on the other hand, you got to wonder if a company that has 178 stores that they're closing and there's others that are staying open, is it possible that they just don't have $10 million on hand to pay out in this lawsuit? These are the kind of things I wonder about. I lose sleep over this kind of crap at night, too. But Forever 21 was always a cool store. You saw a lot of weird stuff in there, weird people, too. But it was just, I enjoyed going with my ex-girlfriend to shop there for whatever reason. I think I just liked the fashion. It was very nostalgic. That's the best way I can put it. And speaking of nostalgic, I told you I was going to tell you about my Costco story that happened to me a week ago. And I've gone back and forth on this, wondering if, in fact, I should tell the story. And I think I've stepped in too deep that I couldn't go back and not tell you the story. So let me explain to you the story and how messed up my head is, at times. Because something like this, what I'm about to tell you, I have never done in my entire life. Quite frankly, I don't know anybody else that's done it in their entire life. And I have to call back Costco and speak to the assistant manager tomorrow and explain to her what exactly happened. So let me just get right to it and tell you the story. I was there, I guess it was last Friday, and I love their salads there. You know, their pre-packaged salads that you just like mix up the stuff, you put the schmutz in it, you just mix it up. It's a great salad. It saves a lot of time, and hey, they're really good. So anyway, I bought, let me see if I can remember what I bought. I bought some Caesar salad, some Mediterranean salad, and the, kale salad. I bought some frozen eggplant parmesan, which is great, by the way. Everything is great at Costco. And I didn't want to, last week was just a rough week for me. I didn't want to come home and do laundry. So I bought a 4-pack of boxer briefs. And what else? Oh, and I bought some mixed nuts, unsalted mixed nuts. That's what I bought. So I get home, I put everything, when I bought a pizza, and I get home and I put everything away. I'm eating a pizza, enjoying dinner. I was getting tired, ready for bed, go to bed. Wake up Saturday, and before I take a shower, I go look for my clothes to lay my clothes out. And I knew didn't have any underwear that wasn't clean, and that's why I bought the 4-pack of the new stuff, because I was too lazy to make the wash to begin with. And I go to look for the bag that had the underwear in it. Can't find it anywhere. I went through 3 boxes again that I knew were empty, but I looked through them again. Do you ever do that when you think, even though you did it, you do it again? I lifted up the boxes off the floor thinking maybe it fell on the floor. So now Saturday goes by. I said to myself, I'm going to call Costco on Sunday, because I'm guessing what happened is the person behind me, they're so fast to get you out there. The person behind me must have ended up going home with my underwear. And I looked at the receipt. It was on the receipt, so I did pay for it. I forgot to call them on Sunday. It was after 5. It was too late because they were closed. So Monday I make the call. And I speak to this woman and I explain the story to her. And she said, let me look into this with one of the managers and I'll call you back. And then at that time, I was on the way to see my mom at the rehab. When I left the rehab, it was about, I think it was about 10 after 8. I called back because I didn't hear anything from this woman. And I said, I didn't know if you were going to call me back or if I was supposed to call you back. And she says, yes, Mr. Stevens, we reviewed the videotape. And I can tell you that your underwear is in the same box with the Caesar salads and the eggplant. And she didn't say anything after that, and I was like a little bit put back. Now, I know that obviously they have great security there. If they could tell you which box it's in, that's just amazing. But forget about that for a second. So a second of dead air, neither one of us saying anything. And I say to her, so what are you telling me? My underwear's in the refrigerator with the Caesar salad? She starts laughing hysterically and says, well, I didn't want to say anything. I said, well, that would really be insane if I did that. Now, remember, I'm in the car now driving home. I said, I'm not going to be home before you close. I'll call you and let you know what I find. And she said, well, I can also tell you the person behind you, there was none because you were the last customer. It was like 8:30. I was like the last one in that line. I had no idea. But the fact that she told me, it was a little bit eerie, as a matter of fact, that she said, your underwear is in the same box as the Caesar salad and the eggplant parmesan. So I get home, I turn on the lights, and I go to the refrigerator, and I don't see any underwear. I see the salads. So I took the salads out one at a time, thinking maybe it's stuck in between the salads. No such luck. It's not there. And then I look on the second shelf in the refrigerator where there's what looks like another bag of salad, and I just kind of moved it over, and then it dawned on me, wait a minute, that's my underwear. I cannot believe that I did something so, I mean, it's stupid. I'm a schmuck for doing this. But imagine looking at it, touching it, moving it over on the second shelf, thinking it's something else, like a salad or a package of cheese. The packaging seemed just like the salad, so I can understand how I did it. But I don't remember doing it, and I can't believe I did it. More so, I can't even believe that I told you that I did this to begin with. But that's me, Rich Stevens, always transparent, love telling you, all the details, and quite frankly, sometimes more. So you can stop laughing at me now. And if you've ever done this, I'd love to talk to you. You can call me on my cell, 305-707-7878, 305-707-7878. Or you could text me, of course, 305-707-7878. All right, so enough of the fun stuff. Let's get to some serious things, because this is very interesting what's going on now. Now, the word comes, this is, of course, breaking news, and I'm doing that with the air quotes. The president, Donald Trump, asked the Australian Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, to help with the Justice Department effort to look into the origins of the Mueller probe. This, according to a DOJ official, telling NBC News. And Attorney General William Barr, who spearheaded the investigation, asked the president to seek Australia's help. I talked about this the other day, and I'm going to bring it up again because it's worth re-mentioning. Maybe you didn't hear the show, whatever. But the fact that we have high-ranking officials supposedly spilling their guts to the mainstream media, the lamestream media, to me, is just mind-blowing. And I got to tell you, I don't believe it. And I've said this before because I don't think there's anybody, like this whistleblower, this whole thing with the whistleblower. This is very interesting because by law, this whistleblower has to be protected. And not only before, like now, and not only during when he or she speaks before Congress, but after as well, and there can be no retaliation. And the president, according to NBC News, is pissed and is trying to find out who the whistleblower is, because if you find out who the whistleblower is, a lot of other pieces will fall into place. And speaking of pieces, another piece fell into place today, and it's amazing to me because the mainstream media is all fired up again. It's almost like back to 2016 when we were getting really close to the election, and it was the Russia, and all that crap going on. And of course, nothing happened from that. But now they say that the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, was on that phone call in July with President Trump and the Ukrainian President, Zelensky. Now this, get this, is according to a senior State Department official. I mean, just think about this for a second. Now, the phone call and a related whistleblower complaint are the main focus of the House's impeachment efforts, and Pompeo had previously kind of danced around the questions about the call and the complaint, but he was under no obligation to say anything to the media when he was interviewed last week. But this is the crux of the whole thing. I hope that, and hear me out now, I hope that the House of Representatives impeaches Donald Trump. Because let me tell you what's going to happen next, okay? The House can pass the articles of impeachment over the objections of Republicans and then refer to the Senate for trial. The Senate will conduct a trial, and there'll be a vote, and then the Republicans will vote unanimously, along with a small number of Democrats, to not convict the president. Now, legally, it would all be over at that point. However, this is where it gets really interesting. During the trial, and this is what no one is thinking about right now, but the president's attorneys will have the right to subpoena and question, ready? Anybody they want to question. Let me repeat that again. At this point, when this goes down during the trial, the president's attorneys will have the right to subpoena and question anyone. And this is different than the special counsel investigation, which was very one-sided. So during the impeachment trial, we will be hearing testimony from James Comey and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Bruce Orr and Glenn Simpson, Donna Brazile, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, Christopher Steele, Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, James Clapper, and a whole lot of other participants in this whole mishegas and ensuing cover-up activities. And a lot of dirt is going to be dug up. A lot of truth is going to be unveiled. A lot of finger-pointing is going to occur. Deals are going to start to be made. And suddenly, a lot of Democrats are going to start being charged, I should say, and going to prison. And all of this because, remember, the president's team now will, for the first time ever, have the right to question all of these people under oath, and they will turn on each other. And it's already starting. And by the way, there's one more thing that's going to happen. The Senate will not convict the president. Nothing's going to happen to President Trump. Most Americans are clueless about political process, the law, and the Constitution. Here's what most Americans really believe, that being impeached results in removal from office. They don't understand that phase 2 is a trial in and by the Senate where he has a big goose egg chance of conviction. Because you got to remember that the Senate is controlled by Republicans, and they're going to determine what testimony is allowed, and everything will be allowed, including DNC collusion with the Clinton campaign to fix the election in favor of Hillary, the creation of the Trump dossier, and the cover-up of destruction of emails that very likely included incriminating information. Are you seeing where this is going now? This is why I want it to happen. They're going to incriminate each other for lying to the FISA court, for spying and wiretapping the Trump campaign, and for colluding with foreign political actors, especially George Soros. Now, after the Senate declines to convict the president, we're going to have an election. Guess who's going to win? Donald Trump 2020. Now, it's going to be a backlash against Democratic petulance, temper tantrums, hypocrisy, and dishonesty. Even minorities will vote for Trump because for the first time, they're going to see that Democrats have spent more than 2 years focused on maintaining their own power and not doing anything at all about black murders in Chicago or homelessness or opioids and other important issues that are actually killing people. And then we're going to spend the following 4 years listening to politicians and pundits claim that the whole impeachment was rigged. So let's move on to impeachment. I mean, this is where we are today. And you got to think about that. And you really got to, I guess the best way to put it is, you got to, what is the best way to put it, actually? I guess it is what it is. Let it play out. I can't wait to see how they're going to be fighting for, no, this is going to be a closed-door session. No, this is going to be open to the public, and we want the cameras in here. It's going to be all closed session because they're going to fight, and they're going to fight, and they're going to fight, and they're going to fight. And that's a good thing for us. You're listening to The Rich Stevens Show, 305-707-7878. You want to text me, you can, 305-707-7878. Excuse me. And by the way, feel free to leave me a voicemail or you can text me as well. Because I'd like to know what your thoughts are on all of this. And this is, it's such a fakakta mess. It's just unbelievable to me. But as I sit back and I watch, and I can't wait for this to blow up in the Democrats' faces, which is obviously going to do. But as I said, nobody's thinking about it. So don't tell anybody that I told you that, because I don't need anybody thinking about it. But that's what's going to happen. That's where we are at this moment. Let me take a little drink here, some water. Glad I got it close by. Pardon me, excuse me, thank you. So, it's such a silly place where we are at right now as I'm speaking to you. And again, I was flipping around the news channels last night, and I'm watching how, first of all, if you watch CNN, and again, I watch CNN for the entertainment value, because it is very entertaining to me. Because I can tell you what they're going to say before they say it. But the thing is, it's so funny. What is breaking news? How do you define breaking news? Because I think I define it differently than, say, CNN would define it, or NBC for that matter. Because every time they come back from a commercial, breaking news, CNN, breaking news, blah, blah, everything is breaking news. I mean, it's like the boy that cried wolf. How long does this have to go on before people start to realize that the fake news is also about fake breaking news as well? And Jim Acosta's at the White House, and my sources inside the White House say, I said this, I'm going to keep saying this over and over again, because you really, I don't know what the hell that was, you really have to understand is that there are no people inside the Trump campaign, inside the Trump White House, that are going to speak to Jim Acosta. Personally, I think, and I know the president can do it, it's just a little bit, I guess you could say unethical, but if I were the president, I would do this. I'd ban all these morons from even stepping ground on the White House lawn, or anywhere near it. Because think about all the things that have been said and all the things that continue to be done, and we know that 99 and 9/10 of this stuff is not true. And also, the same thing happens to NBC and CBS and ABC. They all have sources inside, high-level sources in the DOJ, high-level sources inside the White House. I'm sorry to go on and on bitching about this, but this is exactly the same thing that I said the other day. And I wanted to say it again because it just aggravates me. It pisses me off to no extent. What makes it worse is there's a big part of this country that believes all this crap when they hear it and or see it. they believe it's true. They believe all the breaking news that comes through CNN, for those people that watch CNN and nothing else, that they're on top of the news, they're on top of their game. Do you know that CNN has their lowest ratings in the last 3 years than they have ever had since inception? That tells you a lot right there. And before you say right now, because I can see you looking at the radio, some people, and saying, well, Fox is no better. I agree, Fox is no better. I hate Fox News. I keep saying this over and over again. I've never, ever been a fan of Fox News because they do the same crap. I mean, when CNN had Leon Panetta last night to talk about Pompeo being on that call, because he was the former White House chief of staff for Clinton and for... I forgot who the other guy was. But whatever, it's just, I mean, what do you think he's going to say? He's on the other side. He's on the left side. We know what he's going to say before he even opens his mouth. And yet these, this should be, in radio, when you leave a radio station or even TV, they have a thing called a non-compete clause. This should be enforced in government too, but it should be longer. They should say when you leave Congress, when you leave the White House, when you leave whatever government position you had, especially if you're one of these people that had the secret classified, what is it called? The secret classified, when you have clearances. If you had a secret clearance with the United States government, you should not be allowed to be employed by CNN or Fox News or ABC or NBC or any of those networks for X amount of time. I'm thinking it's a year or two. I mean, yeah, you served your country. Yes, you did. But you also had high-level secret clearances, and you know things that you're not supposed to share with anybody. Now, I'm not saying anybody has shared anything, but if you go back in time over the last, 3-4 years, I think there's somebody we could find that actually did that. And that, my friend, is my opinion that these so-called high-level sources, this is where it's coming from. It's the people that these networks are employing that just lost and or quit their employment or are fired, whatever the case is, and because they don't say, my source John Doe, my source Leon Panetta, my whoever the source is. I mean, think about that for a minute. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because in radio, I've had contracts before where if I leave a radio station, I had to sit out for 6 months. I couldn't go to my competitor across the street. I'm a radio guy. I don't have any top secret clearance for anything. But these people do. They have firsthand knowledge of things that were going on, things that are going on, and things that will continue to go on and or go on for the first time. And that information in the public's hands or in another country's hands could be deadly to our country. And if you think about it, the country that's everybody's worried about Russia. Stop with the Russia already. We're past that. China is the country we have to worry about because China is the one that wants to get every bit, every piece, every sliver of our technology, and they want a piece of it. They want to be able to recreate it. Hell, you could get anything in China. They can make you your favorite pair of designer jeans for a tenth of the price. I got to tell you, I've seen these things before. There's really no difference between that and the real thing for a lot less money. So imagine if they start building our jets and our ships and our submarines. That's what we got to worry about. Our technology that allows people to go in the dark and shoot people. There's tons of things that I can't even think of because I don't know half of these things, but it is a serious concern when it comes to, in fact, letting our secrets out. And it's really scary. This is why the House, the Democrats, and the Republicans should be term limited. There should be one, maybe 2 terms. Maybe 2 terms I think is fair. Instead of these career politicians that are there for their entire life, leaving Congress with millions of dollars in the bank, how is that even possible? How did Barack Obama leave office and had $14 million to buy a house and pay cash. How is that even possible? The salary of the president, if I'm not mistaken, and remember Donald Trump is not taking that salary, it's $450,000 and a $50,000 expense account. Now, he was in office 8 years. Do the math. He had to pay taxes just like you and me. So how did he end up with $14 million in the bank cash to buy that house? I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. We'll never know. But I can't wait until it's open season on all these people that never thought that they were going to be able to be questioned. And now it's about to happen. Hey, thanks for listening to The Rich Stevens Show. I really appreciate it. My text, 305-707-7878, 305-707-7878, or you could leave me a voicemail, 305-707-7878. This is The Rich Stevens Show.